What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Skate Tank MMA show. We've just finished watching the pre-fight press conference of UFC 304. Going to give you guys a live reaction to it. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, share the post, all that stuff. So Hank the Tank, what did you think overall about the press conference?
I honestly thought it was a little bit underwhelming. There were certain guys who I wish had been asked more questions, and there were certain guys that got more questions than they deserved to get asked. I really liked all the stuff between Leon and Belal. They made sure to really incite some tension and fuel the fire going into that. So I remember hearing from a few guys on YouTube that they should have done a sit-down interview between Belal and Leon, just with the dark room, nothing in the background. One guy is like the intermediator, and then they just go back and forth about their history and why they hate each other. I feel like that. I agree. I think that would have been really good because it seems like those are the two fighters on the main card who somehow who like display their dislike for each other the easiest. Like I know that Patty and Bobby Green don't like each other as much as they tried to like settle the beef during the press conference. They don't like each other. They have a history with each other as well. Did not translate to the press conference whatsoever. Like they pussied out a little bit in terms of actually like having their hate known. But it seems like Leon and Belal just have a contempt for each other 24/7. I think it would have really worked to really build more public interest in them if they just had more segments together. But at least they saved it for the press conference, and it was really fun to see. But then just for all the other ones were just so unmemorable. Patty and Bobby was unmemorable, and then Tom Aspinall is just a nice guy. So it's hard for him to really incite some anger in Curtis Blades. If you're being mean to Curtis Blades, you're sort of like a fucking Ian Gary. You're a little bit of a sadist. And Curtis Blades, he was just a nice guy. He was just saying, yeah, I agree. Tom's really talented. I can't wait to fight him. Oh, I got this thing that might be tricky for him. And most of it was just fucking NPC, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. We'll see Saturday night, baby. We'll see what happens.
And I totally agree. Leon and Belal did a fantastic job of selling their fight. Tom and Curtis, just two really nice guys, as you said. They don't really have much to sell there, though. I mean, I think that their fight's like obviously the most intriguing, if you ask me, on the entire card. Mm-hmm. Patty and Bobby, I mean, I think they could have went in harder on each other, but like you said, they totally kept it really, really chill, which was strange that they even tried to like settle the beef.
Well,
right
there. They're fake bad guys. They're fake gangsters. Like Patty's the fake Scouser gangster, and Bobby's the fake. Oh, I'm from the hood, man. Yeah, I'm like Tupac, dude. I'll kill you.
And by the way, what's up, everybody in the building? Captain Rafuko, Sean, Juice Man. He says the press conference is bogus. Captain.
That brings me to my first point.
I totally agree. I think that Cap and Mokaev should have been on this presser, though I'm not entirely sure about the excitement for their fight. You know, Mokaev, they hate Mokaev. I think that Manel Kopp is in like bad graces with the UFC as well, just with all his antics and fight pullouts and stuff. And by the way, thank you, CST. Appreciate having your support. And if you guys haven't checked out CST's Twitter page, the guy does I think he's got a whole team of people over there. They do a fantastic job of covering the sport, giving you just like really unbiased, just news coverage of what's happening in the world of MMA.
Yeah, he's solid. But anyway, I got a few points. I was going through the entire press conference and I was taking notes and having some thoughts in my head that I translated to page. So you're going to hear a few of those from me in my instant reaction. My first point is that, like you said, Idaho, Manel Cap would have torn it up in that press conference. Dana probably expected him to miss weight, which is why he put him on the early prelims, or knew that there was bad blood between Cap and Mokaev, so he didn't want them ruining the press conference. And this points to an overall trend that I have disliked about modern UFC press conferences for a while. Ever since the Nate Diaz, Khamzat Chimaev beef and the I think it was Khamzat Kevin Holland beef that happened at that press conference where it shut down the entire thing, Dana's been sort of a coward when it comes to having guys who actually dislike each other on press conferences. He's scared that some riot's going to occur and it's going to shut everything down. So he doesn't have the fighters with the most heat between each other at these press conferences anymore because he's just scared it's going to cause a riot. And Dana's just not the same Dana as before, who would allow Ken Shamrock to kick over a chair during a conference. So
I'm going to hit you with the living death.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that ever since the Colby and Woodley presser, which you knew was going to just be this just shit show of just terrible things. And then Woodley came out separately, and then Colby came out separately. I thought that was really strange, and I've noticed a trend ever since then. And I think even in that press conference you're talking about, they're like, what happened? What actually happened backstage? And Dana White's like, no, we're not going to talk about it. No, we don't want to get anyone riled up. It's like, dude, Dana, this is the whole entire point of a press conference. And not to mention Luke Thomas, a very hated MMA journalist who actually is my favorite MMA journalist. He makes a fantastic point. He says these are not press conferences; they're pep rallies, and I totally agree with that. But this particular press conference was just super lackluster and didn't even have like a pep rally vibe to it. Though I will say the Manchester crowd, though they were getting absolutely screwed over with the start time of this card, just showed up and really kept the energy alive in there.
Yeah, and if you've watched this one guy that Luke Thomas interviewed, he did Fighting in the Age of Loneliness, a documentary about MMA. There's one point he made in that documentary where he said, hey, for being like at the RNC, like hailing Trump and doing all this with Bud Light, you sure seem to be pretty PC when it comes to actually having beef and like getting things out of control and having big bad blood. You seem to be wanting to limit that as much as possible, except when Conor shows up. And Conor's a riot and Conor's bringing in the big bucks. Then he can throw water bottles at Nate Diaz, and then he can throw a dolly through a bus. As soon as it's just some guy who's untouchable, then it can be crazy like the old days. But anybody outside of Conor, he just wusses out and doesn't allow any controversy to take place. I honestly think it's just burning money.
Yeah, CST says no one asks the hard questions no more at the press conferences. Yeah, and if they do, they get their press credentials taken. But yeah, I mean, I understand, he wants to get the UFC to be on TV. He wants it to be this like really clean sport. And that's really been Dana's mission ever since he started. But at the same time, he loves when the controversy and crazy shit happens because it sells fights. I mean,
it's an Achilles heel, man. He could be making so much more money if he decided to have Colby Covington and Ian Gary as the coaches for Tough instead of fucking Grasso and Shevchenko.
And not only that, like the press conferences where they used to have like everybody on the card all talking crap to each other, I felt like those were much better press conferences. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, but Dana just wants to make sure that the events are held. He doesn't care if something gets in the way. Because, honestly, when MMA is at its most improvised and most spontaneous, it's making the most money. And I think Dana's forgotten that over time. And going back to your point, another one I have is crowd should have been chanting, fuck you, Dana, for that 3 a.m. start time. Immediately, right out of the gate, fuck you, Dana. Like throwing shit at Dana. How dare you disrespect your UK fan base after they generated 2 champions from the UK for you, and you treat them like this? And you support the American crowd over the ones who are like more rabid than us. They show up in the morning to watch UFC cards. We're not doing that shit. Like, they are the most loyal fan base you got in the fucking world, and one of the most fun crowds ever. I've never seen a bad UK crowd. Not on Cage Warriors and not on UFC. Why the fuck do you go to Brazil every year when Colby Covington is telling everybody the truth that they're fucking filthy animals and they're pieces of shit at the shows, and you're treating the UK like this? Ridiculous. So fuck Dana for that. He doesn't have to go back to UK. They don't want him. Anyway, that brings me to my third point. There was an audio issue right out of the gate. Someone was asking a question. And he was like, hey, Leah.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, all right, already shoddy production. I also want to say that Belal had a raspy-ass voice.
Yeah, that was definitely something I noticed. He was very raspy.
Did not help him.
Possibly due to weight cut, but
I agree.
I don't know what was up with that. I've never heard him so raspy, I guess, before. Interesting that you bring that up because, I don't think it's like a major concern. But super, super interesting that he did sound so like I don't know, just raspy, like he'd been puffing on a fucking vape all day or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something similar for sure. And then I wanted to say the crowd loves Leon, obviously, and Leon doesn't seem to be scared of Bilal whatsoever, except when it comes to looking that face in the eye. What do you think?
Yeah.
No.
So that's something that was really interesting from the press conference to me. I've never seen Leon this disrespectful of an opponent. I mean, even Colby, he still gave him his props in some regard, and this in particular was sort of strange to see Leon just like, dude, it's Bilal. Who cares? He's not going to do anything to me, you know. And again, that could be sort of to sell the fight, but and then when somebody asked like, hey, you know, is you think that all your comments are getting to Bilal's head? Leon's like, yeah, of course it is, you know. But I would actually argue that Bilal is in the right mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, everybody's different. You know, you have Fedor, who's a very stoic guy. You know, nothing ever rattled him. But like, I think Bilal is in the right mindset for this. And Leon, though, he said that like he thinks Bilal is intimidated. Just the fact that he would even try to like make him flinch in the face off, and then Bilal having like zero reaction to it. Was interesting to me. I think that it's definitely a bad thing. Just the body language and the general way that Leon's handling himself.
Well, I think the reason for that is that these guys have fought before. This is a rematch, and so honestly, I've seen a lot more tension between Usman and Leon when it was the sequel and not the first fight. And also, I can understand Leon's perspective that he was winning that shit. He was beating the crap out of Bilal, let's be honest, and like dominating for the most part. And then in that second round, he did the eye poke. And what's strange is I think it's also a response to Bilal. I saw it in the promo package they did for this press conference where Bilal was like, and I just hate him. I just hate Leon. Whenever I hear his name, whenever I think about it, I just can't stand him. I don't like him. And so you want to talk about like emotionally unstable. It seems like Bilal has been like focused on Leon ever since that fight and just pissed at him. And honestly, I think for no reason, because that eye poke screwed both their careers. But now Bilal's talking about, oh, he ruined my life. Leon's laughing at him because he deserves to, because Bilal is a fucking joke in many ways.
I mean, I don't agree with that sentiment. I mean, though it is fun to clown on Bilal, just his unexciting nature of his fights. I do think he's a very fantastic fighter, and I think he actually is the rightful guy to be fighting for the title.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm not disputing that whatsoever. But I think the way he conducts himself and how he hypes himself up when clearly there's video evidence that disproves the things that he says. Like, for instance, the elevator stuff. He's like, oh, yeah, I was intimidating Leon.
I could smell fear on him.
Yeah, 6 or 7 people in there. And meanwhile, Edwards and his coach are just laughing in Bilal's face for like 5 whole minutes. They even undercut him with the fucking Office move to Tom Aspinall. I missed all the drama.
Yeah.
So, if anyone's looking intimidating, it's Leon Edwards.
Also, the elephant in the room is that like Bilal's physique has drastically changed. And again, obviously the guy's a hard worker. Like nobody's denying that. But it's pretty fucking clear that the dude, his head has like just grown, and in more ways than one, right? But like, geez, I mean, this guy's clearly on all the fucking steroids, besides the ones that can show up in a positive drug test, I guess. Yeah. By the way, what's up, Denial?
That's why I'm happy. I'm hoping
Juice Man already starting shit with Denial, asking about Molly, and I'm putting in my picks tonight or tomorrow. Good, I can't wait to see him, man, and catch us tomorrow evening. We'll be giving our picks as well.
I've actually seen Sean's picks already. There's one pick that he's missed. I shouldn't have even said that because that would have been an advantage for me. You see, Sean and I have been in a little bit of a game these last 3 weeks, a 2 out of 3 game. And we're both sort of tied, but I'm leading him by just a little bit because of that freaking UFC Lemos versus Jandaroba fight night. He just went all on underdogs and almost all of them cashed. But here, I don't know. Fate doesn't strike twice. And I've seen most of them. I shouldn't have even told Sean that there was an extra one that he missed. But I'm looking at the picks and I'm sorry, it's looking like easy money. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But Bilal, I do like his confidence. He's got that Juliana Pena, Izzy kind of confidence.
Blind, crazy confidence.
I'm gonna knock Leon right out. Trust. Sounding like a JL Discord.
Yeah, he said Leon goes out by 3.
Yeah, ridiculous. And he was not intimidating Leon in the elevator. But I did actually like Belal's public presence in this press conference.
Same.
He was bringing energy.
He seems like a rabid dog that's just like, and he even was getting into it with like some fan on the stage, pointing at him like, what the fuck? They had to like kind of escort him off the stage. And yeah, dude, he's ready to fucking get in a scrap. I like that.
Sure. Yeah. But I also admit that I had a little bit of sadistic glee when he was getting booed mercilessly by the crowd, because I just sometimes I just can't stand Belal's antics. So,
which is a bummer that JL isn't here to view this.
Oh, that would have been so good,
because we could just give him the business on his fandom for Belal, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
Do you have any more talking points on this?
Yeah. Yes, I have a bunch. Aspinall is just a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and he just comes off as very likable. I honestly, you'd think that being likable would be like a hit on your charisma, but it's not, man. Him being likable is his charisma. It's the reason why people like him. It's why they listen to every word he says. And so I think Aspinall came off great here. You don't need to stoop to the level of just making fun of people, unless it's John Jones, in which case I want him. If he beats Curtis Blades, I think he will. If he beats Curtis Blades on the mic, just 10 minutes of just laying into John Jones. Oh, you beat up oh, you hit that pregnant. Oh, yeah, you're a fucking cheater and you intimidated that USADA lady. Fuck you. Fight me, coward. Boom. And even make fun of Stipe. Fucking throw the mic down so that he has no choice. No choice.
Yeah, and during their face-off, Curtis and Tom, it was just like the most boring face-off. Just two guys just looking at each other like they're about to like making their grocery list, as they're staring at each other.
Yeah.
Nothing really on that fight, though. Again, I think it is the most anticipated one in the card. And actually, I mean, the fight sells itself. Leon and Belal got to sell their fight.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we used to be in an era where people who had a lot of beef also happened to be really good at fighting and used to have fun fight styles. And now we're in a different era where all the fun ones, all the ones with great fights and fight styles are the most like nice, like Yuri and Pereira, like double over Tom and Sergey. These guys are like huge power punchers, but they're like sweethearts in the post-fight pressers, whereas the ones who are like, yeah, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kick your ass, like Colby Covington shits the bed in the main event. Yeah, and Belal as well. So
I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen him like visceral in a press conference, and just
I honestly, the beef might be getting to him. Honestly, that elevator, having that video recorded and people being like, "Oh, you're a fucking liar, bullshit," and like I don't know, I think that might get to him. Like, oh god, they're starting to figure me out a little bit. And Leon's just, I feel like he has all the momentum in the world and all the confidence in the world. Some of it might be like constructed by his own accord, but Leon's always been confident. He didn't even have to cry at this press conference. So I got a lot of faith in Leon. He didn't even have to throw a water bottle. So that's great. And then I wanted to say about Curtis Blades, he gives 5 seconds of mic time per question. He is not a poet. He is not an orator. Let's just say that. Like he says, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. Oh yeah, Tom's this. And not a lot of charisma and not a lot of talking points.
Well, I mean, and a big part of it is he has a speech impediment.
That's a shame. But, he sounded good in that UFC 299 post-fight press conference. He had some fun. Oh, yeah, I use my belly to keep him down. And like, hey, you and me, Aspinall, we got unfinished business. He's better at post-fight promos than he is at press conferences. So, I don't know, man. It was good that he built up the fight because we're all interested in it. But
I think both these guys are super locked in for their fight is really the biggest takeaway I got from the press conference.
Yeah, and I like them both. There's no reason for them to but they should have had Cap on this to build the energy up because 100%. It was so low. And then my next point, let's read through some of the comments.
AJ says, God knock the fuck out.
Yeah.
Anthony Ganskow, what is up, my friend? Longtime supporter of the Skate Tank MMA podcast, says Belal mogged Leon in the face-off.
Oh yeah,
he won the face-off for sure. I mean, anytime you try to make a guy flinch and he doesn't.
It's true. I think anyone would be paralyzed by that.
Yeah, I mean, Leon sort of like has a slight lisp, speech impediment, bro. Chill. No, he literally does have a speech impediment. He literally has a stutter. So.
Yeah, so you're going against reality if you're saying that. Anyways, my next talking point, Dana was definitely lying when he said the winner of Jones Miocic fights the interim champion.
Oh, I'm
They're
I'm
both
so
retired
glad you
champions.
brought that up.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him in passing. It was Oscar Wilde was actually the first guy asking questions.
Mhm.
Hey, does this guarantee that guy will fight John Jones? He's like, yes. It's like, oh yeah, okay. That could just change at any moment. Yeah. He had his fingers crossed behind his back.
Yeah. He's
Bilal
gonna
was going
blaze
to
Jones
split
until he
decision
dies.
Leon so hard.
So brutal.
I love it.
Disgusting.
But yeah, no, that was. I mean, I'm sure he would like that to happen. Let's we're splitting hairs here, but like, will it actually happen? Dana White has no idea.
Yeah. And he says it in the post-fight press conferences as well. Oh, are you going to book this, Dana? Does this look like the future? I have no idea. Listen, I just watched a badass fight. I just watched an event. Why are you asking me that? I have no idea. What are you talking about? What?
That's more of a Vince McMahon. Yeah. I want you in a ladder match.
It'll be Shawn Michaels and God versus me, Vince McMahon, and the product of my semen. I know, Skatesman.
Did you watch my limo blow up? It blew up. I died.
You're going to have to do something for me in that limo, Dana. Yeah. Anyway.
Holy shit.
So, yeah.
But yeah, total bullshit. He has no idea.
He's going to be like, oh, yeah. Jones is fighting the interim champion. Then Jones makes one tweet. Hey, Jones is the greatest ever. He doesn't need to fight those scrubs. What are you talking about? It's John Jones. That's a badass fight. The greatest heavyweight of all time, the 42-year-old Stipe Miocic. Anyway.
One fight up at heavyweight. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah. Okay, so the next talking point I got. Crowd does not care that much for Patty. They know that he's a fraud. Patty had to build the energy up. He literally had, hey, come on, give me some noise, man. Scouse is mate, right? And then he even did a well in, lad, like Molly McCann did, So he's definitely hanging out with Molly after that Guru interview. The friendship has been restored. And then I also noted that Patty and Bobby should have gone for the throat more. Yeah. Come on, dude. You're trying to sell a fight. It's like fucking take the Colby Covington route and make up and be friends afterwards.
Yeah, but, I mean, take from the Chael Sonnen school of thought. Like, you can't say, hey, obviously we can't be too friendly going into the fight. Obviously we have to build the fight a little bit. But yeah, I mean, of course, there's not a lot of beef there. We're just fighting. It is what it is, and we'll be friends afterwards. Like, okay, I don't get
right down the drain.
This is a hilarious comment from Gansky. He says, I figured if Curtis wins, they just eliminate the heavyweight interim since Jones is already booked. Wouldn't that be hilarious if they did that to poor old Curtis Blades?
Yeah, that'd be brutal. The UFC just has no respect for interim title belts anymore. I don't think we're ever going to see a unification fight ever again for as long as I live.
What's going on? Hey, girl. Good to see you.
Hey, girl. Nice.
But yeah. Super weird. I mean, I think the fight's going to be decent, but sure. Bobby they could have definitely did a better job building it up. But like I said, those fights sell themselves. Leon and Belal really have to sell their fight.
Yeah, and see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. We're entering an era of the fights sell themselves. We can't sell the fights anymore with personalities. We have to sell them through the fights, which is great for business in terms of like, hey, these are great fights. Like these pay-per-views are delivering in terms of the action, but not in terms of, oh, this is like UFC is becoming a bigger sport because of these matchup and these press conferences. Like we're not going to have another McGregor who's going to make it a bigger sport than it already is for quite a while, unless the stars align and some personalities find their way to the top. But basically, I feel like Bobby just sort of chickened out a little bit. And like he does. Come on, let's be honest. This isn't the first time. He's talked hard and then, hey, I'm just your friend, guys. It's great to be in the UK. Yay, make some noise for me. But I also wanted to mention, I love that everybody was just calling him Bobby instead of King. They just
that is kind of funny. You go through this effort to change your name, people just still call you Bobby.
Yeah, King didn't get mentioned once, which is it's just hilarious. Did the fucking label for him even say Bobby Green? That'd be so. Oh my god, if it said Bobby, that'd be so funny. But
dang it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby. That boy ain't right. All right, next point. Belal getting booed is music to my ears, but the Spain shout out was pretty funny. That was pretty good when Belal at one point was like, "Hey, shout out to Spain for winning that Euro Cup against England. Let's go!" And I was
And
like,
everyone's just like,
"Woo,
yeah,
fuck
what?
you, dude." That was just an easy dig at the UK as a bad guy, and he just pulled that out of his hat. That was funny. I like that. And then Bobby Green wanting 100K was cringe as fuck but I guess he got it because Leon wanted it. That was depressing compared to the 300K announcement. Felt way
Well,
more.
I mean, you could say it was cringe, but it worked. So
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Hey, if Leon wants it, I'll do it. But I want to see like a picture of Dana's face as soon as Bobby asks for it. No, Bobby, no. I mean, no, King, no. But yeah, now it's 100K. And honestly, I don't think it's deserved for this kind of card. We have Bilal Muhammad in the main event.
I mean,
this is not UFC.
that's totally objective. Those fighters should be getting paid more regardless.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that they have the ability to pay them 100K bonuses every single time shows that it is deserved. I mean, if you ask me, but I do understand what you're saying.
I'm finishing this is just that was the first half of my notes. I said maybe higher bonuses in general with these low fighter salaries. I did mention that, but this card is not worth 100K, and that's just my opinion. But in terms of systematically driving it up, I agree. These people on their first contracts deserve more money. I wish we were in an era where they don't have to create fake beef. Real beef is cool, but if there's no beef and both fighters are great, then I'm all for it. Yeah, but it's just happening more rarely. And also you have to put it together. You have to. If you didn't have Cody and TJ together and tough, that would not be as big a beef as it was. Like, part of it is, they're talking shit online, or Manel Cap and Makayev went back and forth multiple times, and they created the beef naturally. But there are other times where the UFC starts to push people in certain directions, and then that's when the beef starts. So it happens naturally, and it's forged. Like, it's a combination of both. Like, you can't just have it's not going to happen once in a blue moon. So
I understand, and I'm fully with the Juice Man on this point. But at the same time, I started watching MMA because of the Conor Khabib fight. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder if he says Dana asked Leon and he got a chance because Green almost won. Bonus. I think that wouldn't it be funny if he asked Leon because he was going to take from his pay-per-view points the 100K bonus?
Yeah, and they're all coming from Leon Edwards' contract.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you.
But I want to make my money. I want the title shot next. I need my 900K.
Anyway. Yeah, Juice Man says the Khabib Conor fight was real beef, and yeah, totally. Like I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm with it.
All right,
Gansko, he's heading out. Yeah, man, we'll see you at the Karate Combat post or live stream.
Yeah, we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing a fight companion for that as well, and breaking down the action because Karate Combat kicks ass, and it's a very underrated promotion with a lot of highlights, and it's just starting to get big as well. With that James Vick KO, it's just starting to get into the public spotlight. So I'm all for these alternative promotions just continuing to grow and grow. And fucking
we're almost at 30 minutes for this stream.
Well, so I got
to get to wrapping it up soon.
Yeah, I got a few talking points left. Dana doesn't want money though because he doesn't want UFC to sell out Wembley Stadium or big stadiums that aren't in Vegas for no reason. Thoughts on Dana's rejecting big stadium shows, especially those outside the U.S.?
I understand his point. Well, I mean, I have an opinion on it. So, I mean, how much do tickets cost for a stadium show? Do you know? In the UK, Wembley Stadium.
Not sure.
Exactly. They don't cost a lot of money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can make UK fans are cheap. Okay, that's why they fill out those stadiums for soccer games and all that stuff. The tickets are incredibly cheap. Okay.
Yeah. And if we know anything about the UFC right now, it is not about cheap ticket sales whatsoever.
Right. Like, so if you sell out a stadium or an arena in the United States and you charge $600 for nosebleeds, you're actually making more money by having less people come to a Wembley Stadium because the tickets would be so cheap. If they price the tickets to maximize profit, they wouldn't sell it out. That's
Right.
the entire point. Dana
Yeah.
doesn't want to have all these cheap tickets to sell out a stadium. So I actually understand his business idea from that point. But as far as like a fan perspective and just for the fighters themselves too, having like 90,000 people at Wembley, I mean, come on, they would love that shit. But,
and plus, I feel like the more you invest in the UK and the more you have shows that are in these big stadiums where there's chances for more fans to see it, you could grow a whole new UK MMA base just from one of those big shows alone. And MMA could become an even bigger thing if you have bigger shows.
I disagree. I don't really care. Screw Wembley. Screw the UK. We won the war. Screw them.
Okay. Well, I guess we're coming from the American perspective.
America.
Well, fuck yeah, baby. Coming around to say the motherfucking day, yeah. Okay, my next point. I know Tom Aspinall's walkout is going to deliver. He's got the best walkout music in the game. And he was asked a question, what's your entrance going to be like? And he was like, oh, yeah, it's something new. But you're going to like it, man.
Watch it be freaking Sweet Caroline.
Oh, God. I can't even stand doing fucking karaoke of that in bars, dude. I fucking hate that shit.
Can you imagine he hypes it up that much and it's just Sweet Caroline?
Oh, can you imagine if Darren Till comes out? Sweet Caroline. Dun, dun, dun.
I hate that song.
Yeah.
The song sucks.
It'll be something else. I hope so. Anyway, my final thoughts. Underwhelming as hell press conference is what I typed immediately after watching. Patty only got one question. They only asked him one question. They didn't even go back to him. What a fucking waste.
We got lots.
Yeah. And then my final point is Bobby trying to intimidate Patty when he's shorter is very funny. He had to get on his tippy toes when he got up to Patty. I'm big guy. I'm the king, man. But yeah, that was sort of sad to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to 304. This doesn't, in press conferences in general, unless they're like bangers, don't ever really get me more hyped for the fight. But yeah, it was a pretty underwhelming press conference. But at the same time, I don't really care for the crazy. Like I said, if you're gonna do a pep rally for a fight, make it interesting. Well, let's go. Let's lean into all the crazy stuff, you know, instead of keeping it all PC and just as you say, just like bland.
Yeah. I think short term, I can understand why they'd want to have Manel Cap on the early prelims when he's sort of unreliable when it comes to making weight. But at the same time, dude, if you're going to use Manel Cap at all before he pulls out, have him at the press conference to drive up interest.
Yeah.
Have him do something crazy and memorable.
I actually saw like a picture from the War Room, as it's called.
The War Room. Badass.
And I think I saw that it had moved back up to the main card, but again, I actually don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, the positioning of where the bout's going to be is in question. By the way, what's up, Andrew B? And Juice Man says Sweet Caroline. That shit was annoying. Yeah, worst song ever. I mean, let's just put it out there.
Holding me, holding you. Horrible. Fucking, I like Neil Diamond, but that shit's absolute garbage. Anyway. I'm actually going to be staying tuned real closely for the UFC weigh-in shows, just for Manel Cap alone, to see if he actually pulls off a miracle. So that'll be interesting. And then I just watch weigh-in shows because I don't know. I like DC's quiz shows with Laura Senko. Oh my! Let's see who can make the best Kashi bowl. Anyway.
Yeah, they need to quit making Laura do weird sexual things on the preview shows or weigh-in shows. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and don't film her doing BJJ training with ass fucking out. It's not a good idea. Anyway. Senko. I value her as a commentator. Actually.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
Talks about fights.
But yeah, I mean that was our reaction to the pre-fight press conference. Stay tuned. We got a lot more content coming at you guys. I mean, I think we made a video almost every day this week. So we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it keep the content ramped up for you guys. Check it out.
Pull into the train. Keep on rolling, baby. And tune in later for Hank the Tank's Fight Companion for Karate Fight Combat. It's the
Fight Companion preview and pick show. Aljamain Sterling, for some reason, is grappling somebody on Karate Combat. Preview and pick show Friday. I might give you guys a post show of the UFC if it doesn't come too close to when Ryzen starts. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Stay tuned for that. And I don't think I can do a post show after Ryzen. Nobody will be up. So
no.
But yeah, and then Sunday, a recap of the whole weekend for you guys. So check it out. We got lots of shit coming your way. Anything you have to say to the people?
All I have to say is thank you guys for showing up for our live chats. We used to have like 1 or 2 people here, and now I'm seeing like 8 or 9 people who are coming in here on the regular. So thank you guys for showing up and showing out. You guys are truly our loyal skate tank army, and we'll always deliver for you maniacs.
And
But
with that, do you have an outro for the people?
Oh yeah, you have escaped the war zone. For now. Well, inland, me and Patty are tight, mate. Keep having those burgers. Delicioso. Oh, yeah.